I'm Emily, and this is Empower Pod, the podcast where I remind you that you can do anything you put your mind to and leave you feeling inspired to live your happiest and healthiest lifestyle. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Empower Pod. Today I am joined with Lhea. Lhea, welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
So for anyone who doesn't know who you are, give us a bit of information about you.
So basically I'm Lhea. I am a female functional hybrid specialist. That's who I focus on with my coaching, predominantly based in HYROX training. I've been doing this for the last 4 years.
Oh my God.
I feel old.
You're an actual veteran, because I feel like HYROX feels new, but so anyone that's been doing HYROX longer than a year, I'm like, you're
an OG.
You're an OG. You were here when it was just being born.
Literally.
So talk us through that then, because obviously you've been in it for so long. So
For sure.
How did you find out about HYROX?
So I've been in functional fitness for 4 years.
Okay.
However, I've been in HYROX for 2.5 years.
Right.
So I got into HYROX initially, and I really don't not asked about speaking about it, but like my mum passed away, so I needed something to help me with my mental health and kind of give me that focus, give me that bit of a kick up the arse, like you're more than just kind of moping about and like feeling sorry for yourself. But like I had responsibilities, like I had clients to look after, I worked in the gym at the time, like the life was busy. I couldn't just go down a mental spiral. So that's why I kind of actually committed to doing HYROX. But before that, I was like, this thing, it looks absolutely wild. I'm like, is it for me?
Yeah.
Do I really want to do that? Do I really want to put myself through that? And I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it.
100%.
So I just did it. When I say train for it, we'll say that lightly. Because training at the time, it was just like, because it was still very new. Like, it obviously came across to the UK in 2019. So like when I started doing it 2 years ago, it'd only been here 2 years, and also we'd had COVID in that time.
Right, yeah.
So there hadn't been any like proper events as such. There'd been a few, but not like full ones. There'd been Birmingham before and London before when I did Manchester. When I did Manchester, I was like, right, I'm going to have to start running a bit more now, aren't I?
And was it doubles or singles?
Doubles, I did my first one.
Okay.
And then Psychotic Me signed up for Glasgow 2 weeks later. Solo. I don't make life easy for myself. But I got the bug for it. And for me, I did doubles. Obviously it was the first race, but it was a little bit, oh my God, I was in a car crash as well 2 days before my first race.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like full on. I'd got a new car, was driving it, and someone went flying to the back of me, so I had whiplash doing this race. Do not recommend. Don't recommend.
Do not do that.
Recommend.
Do not try this
it.
at home.
And then from then I was like, right, I was like you were saying about your half marathon being written off. I was written off. I probably shouldn't have raced in Glasgow at all.
Absolutely.
Did Glasgow. I got the same time as what we did in doubles, and I was like, oh,
amazing.
And I come 7th in my category as well. I was like,
wow,
who is she?
I love that for you. You've discovered
Whiplash.
it. Oh yeah.
Concussion from this.
Think what you could do.
I was like, right. Then I kind of fell into World Championships. So my friend Tash at the time, her partner broke a wrist and she was like, I want to still do it, so I need to like find someone, and you're the only person who I know who can probably do it and are at like my level. So did World Championships, did pro, and then I've just done pro races since, because why not? So that kind of has been my HYROX journey. Then did London pro race, did it then, enjoyed it, felt good doing it. Then did Manchester, got injured this year because recovery was just shit. Yeah. It was terrible. You know what it's like when you're self-employed. Stress levels around Christmas time. A lot.
Yeah. And that's middle of the season as well, right?
So there's a lot. So it's like I really didn't recover properly after London. Then in terms of like what we was talking about before, I was in a slight calorie deficit, so I was like, I feel a little bit like, because I hadn't focused on body composition at all, since my mum had passed away, and I just felt like I needed to just zhuzh it up a little bit and just feel a little bit more myself. But you can't do it with this type of training. Like, your recovery, if your recovery is not there, you're gonna get injured, and I clearly got shown that and got my ass whooped in the first 20 minutes of the race. Definitely shouldn't have carried on. Made it worse. Tore my plantar, so it felt like a burning fire on the bottom of my foot for the whole race. Obviously after that race I was like, I don't think I can race again, like I can't do it. Like, all of them like really bad, negative, nasty thoughts were coming in, and it was really bad. Went to hospital. Actually, I injured it before that, and I didn't get it seen to properly. I went to hospital before Christmas, and obviously A&E, they're good, but they're terrible with injuries.
For sure, yeah.
Muscular tendon injuries, they're terrible. They just tell you to go away, put up like a frozen bottle underneath your foot and roll it, and it's like, that ain't gonna help.
It's needed a bit more than that.
That ain't gonna help, because they've said, oh, you're a runner, like, you'll be fine. I was like, do you understand what type of running I do? Like, it's not just like a slow, steady plod. It's like, we're talking speed work, and
and then mixing in sleds and all of this stuff.
It's so much load.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand how much load and how much it takes and taxing it is on the body.
Yeah.
Anyway, did that, what the hospital told me, went and did the race, made it worse, ruined my race. Then thought, I don't really think I can do this again. Spoke to Holly, my sports therapist, and she when I went in for my pre-race like massage, she went, I was going to tell you not to do it, but if I'd have told you not to do it, you'd have probably gone and done it anyway.
Yeah.
Because you'd obviously trained for it. But she was like, I knew you'd be back with this because of what you've said and how you've not rehabilitated it properly. I knew this would flare up again. So I was out running for 12 weeks.
Oh, God.
12
and
weeks.
That's a long time, right, as well? Like, 12 weeks, it's 3 months of the year, it's a whole heap of the training.
The progress you can make in 12 weeks, though.
I know.
That's what I had in my head. I was like, this is 12 weeks of, like, potentially going back to square one.
And how do you deal with the ups and downs of this sort of training? Because for you, obviously, I know you mentioned about your mum passing. I presume HYROX gave you a bit of like a clear head at times and really helped you through that, if that's a fair...
100%.
Yeah. And then you're faced with this injury. How do you deal with them processing all of that emotion?
Oh, it was so hard.
And then, is that the lowest of low?
Oh, honestly, absolutely horrific. Like, I was in quite a bad mental place.
Yeah.
And I've spoken about this on my podcast. But, like, the mentality that, like, with me, when I'm high, I'm high. When I'm low, I'm low. Like, I'm never any in between. I'm either really, really good or really, really bad. And I'm getting better at managing it. But I think people don't realise how much it can hit you when you've had something like this and you actually I rely on HYROX for my sanity. I rely on it for my mental health. I rely on it for the community. I rely on it for my business as well, for my clients. Like, I love seeing my clients thrive, do not get me wrong. But it is so hard for me to just go and stand and watch, and I'm like, I was meant to be racing this race. Yeah. And I'm like seeing everyone else doing so well, and I'm like, that just gave me that... Instead of because I judged up in Glasgow, instead of looking at out for the first part of it, I was like absolutely hating it. I was like I was proper in my own head, like, this is meant to be me, like, got really down about it. Then, like, halfway through, I was like, you can't look at it like this. Like, use this as your fuel to your fire to get recovered quicker.
Absolutely.
So after that, I got a nutritionist. I got, obviously, Holly, who's been there. I had my coach anyway. But, like, I just really geared up on everything. Like, I was like, if I'm taking this seriously, I need to take every element of it seriously, not just the training or just a sports massage every now and again. Like, I need my nutrition to be 10 out of 10. I need my mindset to be 10 out of 10. So I had a mindset coach. I had, like, obviously my coach, Dina, she still coaches me now. I have Holly still there on hand, who I see every month for a massage, but also like to check in with my foot, see if that's all right. And it's like, if you want to compete like an athlete, you have to actually do the things that an athlete does, or else I'm not hate to say it, you're not going to do it.
Yeah. And I think this is what people don't actually realise, because HYROX has become such a trend on social media, and we're
such a buzzword.
It's literally a word that if you put it on a video, your reel's going to go viral. And that's great. Like, it's amazing that how much it's took off. But I think when you're then watching people, because it's not like you're watching the Olympics and you can be like, that's an athlete, right? Like, your by definition of what an athlete isn't necessarily someone who competes in HYROX yet. Although I am putting a prediction out that I think it could become an Olympic event.
I think it could be 110%.
Yeah, I really could see it going to the Olympics.
Connections,
yeah,
obviously.
I think, oh my God, guys, me and Lhea,
we're calling it
Olympic team.
We're calling it, guys.
We are calling that. But I think people don't actually associate the training with what you would associate an athlete does. So when you're training for something like a marathon, I think there's a very clear distinguished between a recreational runner and an athlete runner.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas I think in HYROX, it's a bit of a blurred line, because it is the same race for everyone. Everyone can just do it at different speeds, if that makes sense. Whereas, like, if you're a running athlete, you're either a marathon athlete or you're a sprint athlete or whatever. HYROX is all the same. It's and it's like, you then just think, oh well, I can just go and compete in that. And absolutely it is. It does brand itself as being a very accessible competition, which it is. The moves are easier to learn than typical CrossFit, and I think that's where it's accessible. And I think that's what's important for people to understand, is it's easy to pick up and be able to do. Whereas, like, if you can't do like a clean, that's a technical movement. Yeah. And then that's where I think this blurred line comes in. And actually, that is why this term hybrid athlete is kind of blowing up, because actually people kind of, if you're doing a HYROX season, you are an athlete. Yeah. Like, you might just not be what your typical definition of an athlete is. Though. Yeah.
And that's kind of what rubs me up the wrong way, because you've got a lot of people now turning around and actually saying that HYROX athletes aren't hybrid athletes, but you are. Like, yes, you're not competing in, so like the actual, like, Google search definition of a hybrid athlete is someone who competes in two different sports on multiple disciplinaries. Get my words out. But, like, yes, you're not competing in multidisciplinaries, but you're competing in them both at the same time. Yeah. So how is that not a hybrid athlete?
Yeah.
Because you're lifting, you're running at the same time. In an endurance race, like, make that make sense, guys.
Exactly.
Like, you are a hybrid athlete, and that it really, I can swear, can't.
Yeah, of course, go for it.
Pisses me off.
Yeah,
like,
yes.
It pisses me off, because
if anything, it's harder.
It's hard. Like, whereas if you do a CrossFit event, you've got the rest in between. You can recover in between. You can get some food in between.
Yeah.
You can make sure you're ready to go again for the next workout. Like, I'm not saying it's any easy, because it's definitely not easy, because I couldn't do a CrossFit competition, because I can't do Olympic lifts for shit. Yeah. Like, that's just not me. I can't do the gymnastics. Like, I've never been able to do that, because my biomechanics in my body can't do that. That's why I love HYROX, because I can do that, because the movements are accessible, like you said. The running side of things, I'm a half marathon runner. Could never do a full marathon.
Yeah.
I don't know how you...
I always say I could do one, I just don't want to.
Yeah, like, yeah, I could probably do a marathon, but I don't actually want to do one. But, like, for me, it just made sense to do them both together. But, like, coming back to the point of being a hybrid athlete, like, if you're wanting to do a sport, like, you don't turn up with just all the gear, no idea. Like, actually have a bit of an idea of what to do. It's dangerous. Like, it's dangerous.
Yeah. And that's what I think, because it is becoming so trending. Again, like I say, amazing. But people, I think, are sort of showing up to it as if it's a bit of like a Tough Mudder sitch.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's difficult. And I mean, we both have similar stories there with...
For sure.
We both showed up to our first race. When we say unprepared as well, I think it is also really important to clarify that we are both fitness coaches.
Oh, yeah.
So when I say unprepared,
this is what we do for a living.
I'm still relatively prepared. But I, for example, like, wasn't running. I did a 5K on Christmas Day, and I was like, done. Perfect. And I, like, PB'd it. And I was like, yes, PB'd. but it was a PB, like my previous 5K after that, before that was like 6 months prior. So I really wasn't a runner. I was very much into bodybuilding, but that's why I think it's important to remember, like, you know, the sled took off for me. Like, it was fine. And everyone said like sled push was so bad, but I don't know whether I'm delusional from the race, but I just remember getting on that sled and I was like there with my fingers, like, oh, that's fine.
No, the sleds are fine.
Yeah. And I
when you've
was
been a
stronger
lifter,
in that.
The lifting bits, easy.
Yeah, easy. And the running, I really, really struggled on. And
you did Manchester for your first race.
Manchester,
well. Yeah, that course.
Yeah, hard.
It's a long course.
Long. The laps are long. The rock zone is big.
Long.
I thought the rock zone was this tiny little area. It's long. Huge.
You go through the inn and it's like, oh right, I've got to go all the way down there, and I've got to go all the way back up there.
It's like 1 kilometre run my arse, because I'm literally running a kilometre to get to the ball zone. So when I crossed the finish line, I was on the biggest high of my life. Honestly, this is why I'm so annoying about it, because it was so good.
So addictive.
And I was honestly, I'd bought a bodybuilding program. I was going to go back into bodybuilding afterwards. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get jacked, like big glutes, all of this. I have not even looked at the gym the same since then. Left my bodybuilding gym, like everything changed. But to go back to the recovery side of things and how you can't just show up, I was took out for a good 2 weeks, like really not feeling good.
Yeah.
Could not walk. And that is from someone who still, even though I say unprepared, trained 5 days a week. I'm a coach at F45, so there's a degree of physical fitness there, maybe more anaerobically than aerobically, but there's still that preparation.
For sure.
And it's really important to prepare.
And as well, like, because obviously I've been in this for quite a while, I've noticed a massive pattern in terms of more so females over males, because obviously we've got more hormones to play with. Our body's a lot more receptive to stress. With females in this kind of sport, and there's no research in terms of HYROX in relation to female hormones and like the decline in hormones. But what endurance sports do, there's things like Ironmans, there's research on Ironmans, there's research on marathon runners, ultra marathon runners, so you can apply that knowledge, scientific knowledge, to this sport as well.
Absolutely.
There is so much research out there about how women's bodies take a lot longer to recover. So when you see people smashing races after races after races, then the cycles go missing, they get HA, they then end up being a lot more, like, I'm going to say delusional, because they get more brain fog, like literally delusional, because they can't think straight.
Right.
Body is just massively in a state of stress. So I know it's women, like, we're not about weight loss or anything like that, but like they'll see the scales go up, so then mentally like, all right, I need to reduce my food because of the inflammation on the body. Like, there is so much research out there to show that basically when you do a HYROX event, it's not just an event that you do and then you can crack on back to training the next week after. Like, you need to make sure that you taper your week you're training before, taper your week the training the post race as well, purely because it's like you've been in a car crash, because your adrenaline levels are through the roof. You don't feel any ounce of soreness until like 2 days later because the adrenaline is still there in your body. It's like, and I've said this on a piece of content before, and people's like, you can't compare that, but I can. It is like you've had a line of cocaine and then you've got the massive come down afterwards.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why people are so addicted to it.
I completely, the HYROX high is so real.
For sure.
Like, it's so, because the come down, I did a TikTok on it, and I think my TikTok actually went viral because it was right after Manchester. And I don't know whether it's just because I was more aware of Manchester, but I feel like Manchester was quite a defining moment for HYROX. I feel 100%. Like it really took
Everyone
off.
Took off though.
And all of the content was doing so well. And I put up about the HYROX high, and every single person was like,
I feel that.
My God, like, I am on the biggest low of my life. Like, I feel like I've just come back from Ibiza and been hit by a bus. And I was like, this is worse than anything I've ever experienced in my life.
But there is so much research out there. It's called PDR, so post PRD, post-race depression.
Right. I had
It's an
that.
actual thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's an actual thing.
Because I was so scared after my half marathon, which is why I was
again.
saying about my recovery after the half. I was saying to Lhea before we started this podcast, my half recovery probably took about 6 weeks, which is obscene. And I think it was because I was so worried about this post-race depression, because it was so bad after HYROX, that I went straight into normal training again, because I was just so petrified of feeling it. And I didn't feel it, but
your body felt
my
it.
body was screaming. What do you say to your, I mean, you will have obviously experienced this post-race
Multiple
depression.
times.
And what are your coping mechanisms with this now?
So, genuinely, book a spa day.
For sure.
Genuinely book a spa day.
Get down to Hale Country Club
Literally,
and chill
book a
out.
spa day. Make sure you get a massage booked in, like 2 days after the race. Don't go to it straight away, because your body's still in that adrenaline state.
Yeah.
2 days after the race, perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
Also as well, food. Don't go tracking food.
Yeah.
Do not go tracking food, because psychologically you'll panic for some reason. Like, that's something that I've noticed a lot with our athletes as well on our team at High Life, is that they panic when they start tracking food. So I just tell them not to track any food. Eat the food they want to eat.
Right. But with that, how do you then, a lot of people experience like very low hunger levels. They like after
nothing.
Races, they don't want to eat.
I don't eat after race. I can't eat.
Right.
So what I do instead is I just have literally a shake.
Okay.
So I'll get liquid calories in instead.
Yeah.
Because I know I need to eat for the recovery purposes. But after a race, we went out after Manchester, and I was like, you know what? I've not eaten like a big pizza.
Yeah.
We went to Salvi's, and I was like, oh, this is going to be incredible. I couldn't touch it.
No.
Like, I had it in front of me, and I was like, I can't eat it. But that's again because adrenaline levels are so high. It's like you've literally had a line of cocaine. Like that, it's the same situation, guys.
For sure.
So you're not going to be hungry. So make sure you have a shake, protein, and also make sure you get a good form of carbohydrates. Percy pigs. Yeah, so I suppose it's like taking the pressure off going and having this massive bowl of pasta, and you obviously need to replan your carbs, which is why I said about, dealing with that, because carbs and protein is so important after doing a race. Yeah.
But yeah, it's about going about it in a way
simple.
that is
just keep this
easy.
Carbohydrates simple, keep your protein sources simple, easily digestible, because your body's going to be able to absorb it a lot quicker. You're going to recover a lot quicker. Your mind's going to be a lot quicker. Also as well, I don't have electrolytes other than around race day. So I'll have an electrolyte after that just to obviously replenish, because I'm not being like, it's a sweaty event.
Yeah.
You need to replenish them. Or else that's when your body starts to cramp up, or your muscles start tightening very fast. It's probably because you what's the word? Not deficit, but depleted.
Depleted, yeah.
That's like kind of post-race day. That's after race. If I've raced in the evening, because women race in the evening majority of the time, don't we?
Yeah.
Unless you did.
Oh, mine was 8 a.m. It was gorgeous. Yeah.
Oh, so that's a different story. But whenever I personally raced, it's always been in the evening. So it's have a quick protein shake, whether it's a grenade one, just a barbell, just something you can literally just grab from the shop.
Yeah.
Percy pigs in the bag, ready for me at the finish. Cal literally comes over to the finish pen with my Percy pigs, and I'm just passing me over. Luke said sport.
Yeah,
Game
that's a great
changer.
one. Yeah.
Hydration, and also as well your carbohydrates, easily digestible. You're going to feel so much better. Yeah. Instantly. I'll then probably have a bagel or something when I come home. Mm-hmm. I mean, we went to Salvi's, I ate a little bit, but...
Yeah, we went to Ramona, but I remember having zero appetite at all.
Can't have nothing.
Yeah.
The day after that, ravenous.
Yeah.
Do you not think absolutely ravenous? So then that day, I will have something like a pizza or something like that, because I'm like, I know you don't have to work for food, but that's whenever I'm on the lead up for camp, shall we call it?
Yeah. It's strict.
It's strict. I want to eat good food. I want to be fueling myself properly. I have not eaten out in the last 6 to 8 weeks.
And I think that's a really important thing to say as well, because I think you'll often hear people talk about you need to fuel for performance, but we don't just mean
eat shit.
We mean fuel. Macronutrients are so unbelievably important. And when I'm not...
God, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And when I'm not eating, a couple of weeks, I've been a bit having what I want kind of thing, whatever, fell off the wagon a little bit, and that's fine. But I've noticed literally a side by side, like, what's the word, like my comparison. My performance has just not been as good as it is as when I know I'm eating on track and eating the right things.
No, I'm the same. Like coming back from Barcelona, I'm like 50% sangria, 50% paella and tapas. And like the first 2 days of my training, I was like, oh my god, this is a slog.
Yeah.
No, I'm like 2 days into eating better, taking my creatine again. Like,
you just feel it come back.
It feels so much better.
Yeah.
It feels so much better.
It really does. And it's all these different components that I think are so important to be considering, as we've been saying. And I think that leads me on to this question of, what do you think is the biggest mistake at the moment people are making when it comes to training for the next HYROX season? And the reason I think this is really important is because we obviously saw in the last season Hunter really overtrained, and he's obviously spoke about this. And we watched live the effects of overtraining. Exactly. We saw that live, and it was I think everyone was shocked. And I think we were speaking today about Netflix series, and everyone's got to go through, like I was watching Simone Biles this morning, she had her phase. Everyone's got to go through that to understand why they need to change something. But what is your opinion on the worst thing people are doing, the biggest mistake people are making?
Do you know what? I'm gonna be quite blunt. Like, some people need to learn. Like, some people actually need to learn the hard way to actually understand what they need to do.
Yeah.
And some people are they don't want to see the truth. Like, they don't want to see it because they know it's going to cost them.
Okay.
In some way of shape or form, whether that is physically on the body in terms of injury or cost them financially. And the personal biggest mistake I think people are currently making now, and I think like from what we've said before, is not actually investing in the right places. Like, what is that saying? It's something along the lines of, like, you'll have to invest twice or something. Do you know what I'm on about?
Yeah. Like, sort of, if you just
you can keep going for the cheapest way out, the quick fit. Same with fat loss. You can go for the quick fixes all the time, but you're going to have to pay for it twice.
Got you, yeah.
Whereas if you pay for it once, you get a good quality of whatever it is you're doing. Could be trainers, could be sports therapist, could be a coach like ourselves. Like, for people not investing in the right areas, they're going to cost themselves something in the future.
Absolutely, yeah.
For me, a lot of the time it's women getting injured because they are wanting to push to these extremes. HYROX is fucking insane in terms of how much it's grown with women, more so than men, the last 2 years. Like, for me, for someone who started when there was literally, you could buy a ticket and rock up on the day.
Yeah, not anymore.
We're
queuing to get on that website these days.
And women are the people who are selling out the tickets first before men. Like, men, you can go a few days and then they'll book it. But women, we are on it, like, straight off the bat.
Which is incredible.
Now, for me as a woman who's never really necessarily been into sport as such, and now to be in a sport where we actually feel accepted, it's like being cheered upon. Like, the women are actually beasting the men. Like, it's incredible to see. But if you're wanting to do that level, you have to get specific with things. You can't just rock up on the day and just hope for the best just because you've done an app program or you've done a quick nutrition course online with no kind of guidance or specific knowledge in terms of HYROX or endurance. It doesn't actually have to be HYROX knowledge. It could be any sort of endurance sports knowledge around your nutrition, endurance-based knowledge around your training cycles, training blocks. Like, you can't just go in and slam all training modalities into your training block. Your body's going to smack, like, it's going to smack and break. Like, it's going to break in half.
Especially if it's new.
Exactly.
If you're going from strength training or no training to then just going into HYROX, it's a minefield. Like, there's a lot to learn.
So much information out there.
We're not saying it to, like, intimidate you, but that is exactly it. Like, I don't know everything, which is why for me it was like, I'm just going to get someone to sort my programming out for me because I don't want to have to think about that as well as training. And, like, their knowledge is way more on nutrition than mine is when it comes to this specific event. So that's really important for me. And like you say, the information on social media, there's so much of it. Who do you trust? Who, you know, how do you even begin to find a video that you can sit and actually be interested in? And it's a lot.
Yeah, there is so much, and you'll understand as well, like you speak to so many different people, and it's like I just don't actually know where to start.
No. And as well, it is so individual, because you speak to Lhea, she's going to be on different calories and macros to what I'm going to be on. Like, we're going to have different things that work differently for us.
Training's going to be completely different.
Exactly. And I think that is also the thing as well, which we were discussing before. The training is, I think people are misunderstanding what the training is.
Yeah, I think people just think it's just WODs.
Yeah, and like...
WODs and classes.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it ain't.
It's not.
It's just not, and it's like, obviously, like, the classes are great, like, you'll understand, like, the community F45 is incredible, like, it's great for that, but if you actually want to truly do well, not just to compete in terms of, like, getting first, second, third, or, like, get a certain time, you still need to do training outside of that.
Yeah.
Even as, like, an F45 coach, I'm pretty sure you'll agree.
Oh, absolutely, because I think the classes, so on a Sunday, I always go to Hybrid Performance Centre, love it so much, or I'll go to an F45, which are also really great, and they give you that HYROX community. They allow you to meet other people. You push yourself a little bit more, maybe because you're in a class environment, you've got people telling you what to do. But I'm also very specific on the classes that I go to. I make sure they are progressive classes. So at Hybrid Performance Centre, it's Cami who runs those, and all of her classes are done in blocks.
She's great, Cami.
Yeah, so at the minute we're in a Birmingham block. I know every week on a Sunday when I rock up, it's going to be a progression from last week, and it's going to work me right up to the race. But external to that, I'm strength training. I'm doing my running. I'm doing all that other stuff, because it's not just about balls to the walls, you know, sweat sesh every time. It isn't about that.
That's not training.
No, it's just doing it. And frankly, I think by the time you then get round to the race day, you're going to be burnt out.
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
There is so many people, like, and you'll see it yourself. People even come to classes, like, you will see the people who are burnt out because their energy levels will be dipping. They will not be able to push as hard in the classes. The mood might not be the same. Like, it's not just about, like, the training. Like, your mood will just go down completely. You'll feel lethargic. You'll just not be able to show up in day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And I see it happen all the time, and it's like people will come up, like, contact me 4 weeks before the race, and I'm like, what have you been doing for the last 12 weeks, let alone for the next 4 weeks?
Absolutely.
Like, there's a lot can change in 4 weeks if you manage your nutrition better, manage your sleep, stress, all of that. But, like,
think what could have been done.
What could have been done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is what's really difficult for people, I think, to digest at the moment, because it's very much a case of, like, people might not know how to train for it. They're then just seeing
do it
stuff
because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, which is great,
fine.
But it's also about recognizing what you're actually going to be putting yourself through as well. And what would you say to someone who is new? They are wanting to take it very seriously. How do they go about splitting hybrid training up? Because it's a lot.
Sure.
And how do they manage that with a job?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, everyone's got a busy life, whether that is personal, professional, like, life, whatever in general.
Yeah.
And for me, like, just get specific. Like, and with us on our team, like, we run a series of fitness tests to make it specific for the athlete who we're coaching. But, like, you can literally do the HYROX PFT. You can literally just do one which is standardised by HYROX, and you can see where you get kind of graded, because you've got your gold, silver, and your bronze, like, kind of grading. Have you done a PFT before?
I've not done a PFT, but we did do them at F45. But that, for anyone listening that doesn't know what a PFT is.
So it's HYROX's physical fitness test.
Okay.
You can literally just Google it, and it'll come up on the internet. It's just, I can't actually remember the actual order, but you've got a run in there, you've got a row in there, burpees, lunges, press up, not press up, maybe there is a press up in there, wall balls. And
it's like a benchmark.
Basically a benchmark to basically see what category you'd go into. So, like, if you do gold, you could probably do pro. If you do silver, you could do solo in open. If you do kind of bronze, you're talking like a doubles relay. If you do anything like kind of outside of that, they'll probably just recommend you to do a relay to start off with.
Yeah.
And basically, it's just a really good idea to kind of get a feel for the race and how to pace.
Yeah.
More so than anything. So I'd recommend that anyone does that, or even, like, message me. I'll send you one or two of our fitness tests, then you can see basically how we benchmark you.
I'll leave Leah's IG handle in the description as well, guys.
Thank you. And basically, just look at them benchmarks, see where your weakest areas are, work on your weaknesses. Make sure you leave enough time as well to actually go through specific training blocks to work on your strength, your endurance, your mobility, your speed. Like, focus on the 4 different things differently, and then start to build one or two of them in slowly but surely, because if you load all of them in at once, like what we were saying, your body's going to break.
And it's too much to fit in.
It's too much.
If you've got a job, you're not an athlete, and it's just, I think you put a piece of content up on Instagram yesterday. I think it's important to distinguish how seriously you are taking it. So whilst we say yes, don't show up to a race unprepared, you know, if you don't want to be an elite 15, you don't want to be a HYROX world champion, you just want to do the race, you don't need to be dedicating as much time as someone who is wanting to qualify.
3 to 4 times a week of training is perfectly fine. If you can manage 30 minutes of training in them days, perfect. If you can do an hour, perfect. If you want to take it even more seriously, train 5 days, but you don't need to be training 6-7 days, and you don't need to be doing double sessions.
Absolutely.
Like, you really don't. Like, me and you train at a very good level, I would say, and we don't train 7 days a week. Like, and if it is training 7 days a week, it'll be like a lower intensity thing, like a yoga or a Pilates or something like that, just to help the body move freely and just tick over. But like, if you are trying to balance the two, make sure you have a lifting session in. Like, you can't be fast and strong at running if you're not strong. I say this to everyone all the time, and it's like, oh my God, I don't want to lose my strength training. I say, you're not. Like, it's not just running that you're going to be doing. Like, you need to be doing it all. So make sure you've got a lifting session in. Make sure you've got a speed session in there as well. Make sure you've got kind of something that's going to work on the ergs, because the erg work will also then help you with your actual speed work, because it's going to help increase your aerobic capacity. Work in them higher rate zones. Could be intervals on like the ski erg, the row erg, like it could be intervals on them. Could be a WOD where you kind of cycle through them all, add a few different movements in there. But make sure that you can progress that each week. So say, for example, you do like 8 rounds and you do like a minute on, a minute off. Increase it to 10 rounds the week after. Increase it then to 12 rounds. Increase it then to 14, 16. Then on week 4, have a deload, because the intensity that you're training is so intense. It's not like a bodybuilding split where you leave it however long until you stop. And
like 12 weeks or whatever.
12, 16 weeks on the same program. It needs to consistently change, because you're consistently changing, or else you're not going to change and adapt to the level you want to.
Absolutely.
Have like a longer run in there, but not have it as like a tempo run, like a 10k tempo run. You're going to break your bloody back if you've not your back, but your legs or whatever.
Your back's going.
Your back's gone. But like, don't just go in for a 10k run if you've never done a 10k run before. Start in times instead of distance. If you can only do, say, a 20-minute run, do a 20-minute run, see how far you get. Then work your distance off that, and then you can slowly increase your distances on that.
100%.
And do a bit of zone 2 work in there as well, whether that is a swim, bike, run, Stairmaster even. Like, do things other than them movement, because that's also going to help you with that. But then also do like the accessory work in there. That's kind of like your pre-season bits. Then going into season, you need to get even more specific again, in terms of like, you need to start working on your weaknesses in terms of compromised running, because HYROX is compromised running at the end of the day. Like, you're running on heavy legs, you need to be able to run at speed on heavy legs.
And I think it's important what you've just said there about like phases and pre-season, because I actually did a seminar the other day with Jade Skillen. And she really broke it down very, very nicely as well. Literally what you're saying, but like, you don't need to yet be doing compromised leg work, because if you're going to gas out too soon.
Literally.
So compromised legs is more, right before the season starts. Even going into the season, you're training.
You need to work on your speed now.
Exactly.
How can you expect to be fast if you then go in slamming, like, for example, like I've had it on my program before, for example, like leg extension into like a 500 meter sprint, into then like 15 bodyweight squats into a 500 meter sprint again. How can you expect to be fast if you've not done the fast work? Like, you just can't.
And you can't build speed on heavy legs, can you? So,
no.
Yeah.
So your muscle tissue is just not going to be able to cope a lot. That's how people cramp, because your muscle tissue is just underprepared for the... A lot of people think it's underhydration, underfueling. Yeah, that plays part and partial. But if your muscle tissue has not been able to increase the load to that demand before that, then no wonder why you're cramping up.
There's just so much that goes into it that I think people don't realise, and that is also why it can feel really overwhelming.
Especially for people who have jobs. Like, do you have time to sit and spend hours researching at night?
No.
Like, no, you don't.
No.
Especially, like, women who have kids and stuff as well. Like, we have a lot of women with kids on the team, as well as, like, younger professionals like our age and stuff, who are they've just not got the time to sit down and read. I have coaches on the team as well. Like, these girls know the shit. Like, they're not stupid, but, like, they have me, they have Kirsty, they have Holly on the team to literally just tell them what to do, but then give them the explanation as to why they're doing it. And
Absolutely.
It's like, me and you'll probably agree on this one. It's like, even if you're not taking it seriously, even if you want to take it seriously, get a bloody coach and get it 1-to-1, because, like, you're stupid if you don't. To be quite, like, I'm gonna put it, you're stupid if you don't. Like, you really, really are.
I think it's just about, like, trying to make the process as easy and as underwhelming as possible for you, because you want to love it, and I think when it's overwhelming, you're not going to love it, and you're going to feel like it's a lot, and you could just benefit so much from having someone there that just goes, like, for me, I wake up in the day and I'm like, oh, what have I got on today? Right, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, that's the same.
And I don't have to think about it at all, and it just takes the pressure off, and I'm actually enjoying the process. And I did want to go back to what you said about getting specific, because in your opinion, say someone does their PFT and their rower is like a real weak point for them, but their running is always also a weak point for them. Would you say spend loads of time nailing the rower to shave off 10 seconds, or is running where they should focus their energy?
Running.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, your workout sections in HYROX aren't really going to change significantly.
Yeah.
But in turn, if you get stronger at your running, your aerobic capacity is going to be a lot stronger.
Yeah.
So if your aerobic capacity is a lot stronger, your rowing and your erg work is going to get a lot faster in turn. So,
and you can shave off more time with the runs, right? So
for sure.
If you can improve your split pace by a minute or 30 seconds overall on the race, you're going to bring it down substantially.
Yeah. Like, if you say, even if it's like 20 seconds on each, that's what, 2, 4, 6. I'm really bad at maths.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 minutes. Is that right?
No.
8 minutes.
No.
Sorry, this is really bad, isn't it? So wait, sorry, if they've done 20 seconds, 20 16 is
times 8
divided by 60.
Divided by 60. So you're shaving that off by like 3 minutes.
16 minutes.
3 minutes.
You're going to get 16 minutes off that, guys.
3 minutes is like, it's a long time in the race.
Well, and I think this is it, right? So, like, when you're actually going into the race and you're thinking, I want to shave time off, it's very rare, unless you have, and I actually see you quite a lot on Instagram talk about people who shave off quite a lot of time. Did you have, like, I swear you had like a 16-minute shave off or something with a client?
Oh no, she had 37 minutes.
37 minutes.
37.
But that was down to going from having no structured training to having structured training.
So she had, the 37-minute PB was basically, she did an hour, can't remember what she did specifically. She did that on her own, the 37-minute PB, and then she did also a simulation. I know you can't compare simulations to, and I will say that, but then she did it with her original partner, and it was still a 37-minute PB.
Wow.
From the simulation to that, and I had a few comments saying it's because she did it with you and that, and it's no. We went at her pace.
Yeah.
We didn't go at my pace because it wasn't my race. I just stepped in at last minute.
But also, I think that's such a cop out of a comment, because on doubles, for anyone who's not raced yet, like, yes, okay, on the stations, the stronger partner can do more work, but
we split it.
So you guys split it evenly, and also it doesn't even matter. Like on the runs, you've got to run at the same pace. You can't run off. And I swear I did actually see something the other day though, where you can run faster and get to the station sooner, but you can't start the station until your partner comes in. Is that right?
So technically you should have a penalty if you're running
separate.
Like, I think it's 15 seconds before.
Right, okay, yeah. Because I saw that and people were like, oh, well, I'll just run really fast and recover. And I thought you had to stay together on the runs.
No, you do have to.
Yeah. Glad we cleared that up for anyone else that saw that. Cop-out. Yeah, it's a cop-out saying that, like, there's always going to be a stronger partner in a doubles race. A doubles race is going to be even, Steve. And this is why I always say never double with someone as well. Obviously, in your case, it's different because you're a coach and it was a coach-client thing. But never double with someone where it's just so different, because I just think the synergy doesn't work if the person, because on race day you do get competitive.
Oh yeah, even if you say you're not going to be competitive, you become competitive. Yeah. Even if you're the slowest person there, 100%. You're going to be competitive.
100%. Like Molly, for me, Molly was a stronger runner out of the two of us, and she dragged me around that track, I will tell you now.
Did you do it in London with Molly as well?
No, Molly did it with another friend in London. But yeah, in Manchester, like, she dragged me around, and luckily, like, I wasn't too far below what Molly's doing. But I do also think she probably could have got a bit faster had she, like, ran with someone that had done like a half marathon before.
But do you know what as well, like, this is something I say to everyone all the time. It's like, with me, I'm like, at the minute, I'm looking for a doubles partner who can push me to like a sub 60 doubles or sub 70, sub 60, sub 70 kind of doubles, because I know I've got that in me. Absolutely. If I run with someone who's a stronger runner, because like I can comfortably run 450s, whereas like I need someone who can probably run 430s, 4 minute kilometres, 4 minutes, 430 kilometres to push me to get to that 6 thingy. So I agree with you, but then also at the same time, it's like, they need to be okay with maybe slowing down slightly.
Yeah, so you've got to be on the same page, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Not necessarily the same level, but if you are with someone who is like, okay, I know I am stronger, but I'm here to push you and we're going to get you through to this. Whereas if you're with someone who isn't understanding of that, it can, I think sometimes
there's a massive disconnect
or
frustration.
For sure. Yeah.
For God's
and it
sake,
makes for an uncomfortable race, right?
Oh yeah, and you just hate the race.
Yeah. So I think choosing your HYROX partner is really very important, but also, like you say, choosing strategically as well, knowing that your goals marry up with each other. And like, if you are wanting to push, you absolutely need someone who's going to help you push, for sure. Next question that I did have for you is supplementation.
Oh, okay, go on.
Talk to me about what you think is important for people to be supplementing, because I said in my podcast this week, I really stripped back. And all I take now is creatine and electrolytes. But I think since hybrid training has come up, there are people taking
just like X, Y, and Z.
There's so many supplements.
It's like glutamine. What's the other one that everyone's taking at the minute? L-glutamine,
beta alanine.
That one. And begins with a C. It's not creatine.
Cordyceps.
No, L-carnitine.
L-carnitine.
That's it. I think they're a lot of shit.
Okay.
I think it does help.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to help you.
Yeah.
But supplements are there as an accessory to your nutrition.
Yeah, you don't need them.
You don't need them. So it's like, don't go and do a massive bundle shop in terms of getting X, Y, Z, like getting it all because you see all these elite level athletes getting it. Do you know why the elite levels are getting it? Because their nutrition's 10 out of 10. And they're adding that on top of it to supplement it. If your nutrition's not 10 out of 10, you're not going to feel the benefits of that.
100%.
So what's the point of supplementing it?
I think, do you know what I mean? One that I'm so...
creatine I'm pro for.
Creatine, yeah, I feel like creatine... I recommend creatine to all my clients.
Yeah, I do.
The majority of the girls that I work with are in like fat loss phases. And
I
think it's
fat loss,
really
whatever,
important.
you need it.
Yeah. But electrolytes at the moment I think is really interesting because, like I say, I take electrolytes. But I do...
You sweat a lot.
I sweat a lot. And it's replenishing. That's why I'm staying hydrated. But what people aren't looking at is the content of...
The factor in the percentages of different things in there. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm with you.
There is like... I won't say the brand, but there is a new electrolyte on the market that is the saltiest shit I have ever tasted in my existence. Right? When you look at the content... it would be suitable for a Tour de France athlete. Like, we're talking that level of sweat production, and people are taking that every day. And I think it's about saying, yeah, that looks cool. I would love to,
to have that.
I'd love to have that, but you don't need to always be having the top dog stuff.
No. Me and my nutritionist were actually speaking about this, to be quite honest with you, when I first started with him, because I was ramming in electrolytes every single day. It weren't strong ones. It was literally...
Like the daily electrolytes. Like, I think like Humantra are very low.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I was having... when was it? I had Cis, and then I had Applied Nutrition.
Yeah. The little tablet
The little
things.
ones. Yeah, I was having them every day. And I'll hold my hands up. Not really noticed a difference in not taking them.
Well, I have ones from this brand called Fizz.
Yeah, I've heard they're quite good, but...
Yeah, but I don't think I noticed a difference performance-based.
I think it's psychological.
Just like, it's psychological. I have them first thing in the morning. My wee goes clear, so I'm hydrated. It's done. It's a good way to hydrate
I'm good.
And then I also think they just make my water taste nice.
Yeah.
And it helps me get a litre of water in. It's habit.
Me and my nutritionist, like I said, was speaking about this when I first started with him. He was like, get rid of them. You're wasting your money. It was like just an overpriced thing. No, the time I do take them is around my cycle.
Yeah.
Because around luteal, because obviously based on metabolic temperature is higher, your sweat rate is going to be a lot higher as well. So it's more of a scientific reason why I actually take them. And he actually agreed. He was like, because I get quite lightheaded around my luteal phase. You tell me to do a tempo run and I'm feeling like that, I'm going to pass out. Like, your gal's going to pass out.
It's not happening.
But electrolytes are really, really good around race day. They're really, really good around, especially if you're doing it first thing in the morning like yourself. Like, it's going to be hard for you to get in at like 2 litres of water before your race. Like, electrolytes, bang them in there.
Yeah.
With me, who's racing in the evening, do I really need electrolytes? No. Post-race, yes.
Yeah.
Now, electrolytes are they're a great tool, like you said, but...
Another buzzword.
It's a buzzword.
Yeah.
Like, you see everyone doing it on the fancy reels and stuff, and I'm like, you don't need it in there. Like, you just genuinely don't need it in there as such. Purely because, like, I'm not being funny. Get some pink Himalayan rock salt. That's
Pop
just
it
as...
in. Yeah. Like,
pink Himalayan rock salt in some... Taste minging, by the way. Orange juice. You've got carbohydrates in there, and you've got your natural electrolytes in there. Like... Perfect pre-run, pre-race, whatever.
And I have actually noticed as well, since training more, one thing I did start doing was adding more salt anyway into my foods.
And I feel fine.
Electrolyte, yeah. So I mean, I will hold my hands up. I do drink electrolytes, but like I say, it's more around because I train, I sweat a lot, so I take them. If I'm on a non-training day, I'll either have, like we say, those tablets that are so minimal that it's like, are they even really doing anything? Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just important for people to realise that supplementation it is to supplement, to add to
it's not to
an already whole diet. Exactly. So yeah, basically guys, choose spend your money wisely, because you don't need to buy...
Don't invest in the wrong things.
You don't need to buy £50 electrolytes. Let's just put it out there.
No.
And what about gels in a race? What's your opinion on that?
I don't use them.
I think me and Molly shared a cyst gel, and I nearly threw up because it was like a blackcurrant. So I was like, and then I was like, I can't take it.
Did it go gooey in your mouth as well?
I was like,
when
I can't
you had
take
dry
it.
mouth as well.
Oh, that dry mouth.
It's bad.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Do you know why they do that?
What?
They must put something in the air that is drying my mouth out. Like,
it's anxiety.
Is it?
It's anxiety. So like the first race I've never had it is in London.
Really? Because there is a rumour mill that they put something... I don't know whether it's to keep the room aired out.
I've never heard this.
No, I heard a little rumour, and it was like, yeah, they put something in the air to stop it humidifying in there from all the sweat, which makes sense because it is always a very humidified space.
Yeah, but... I don't know how true that is, Emily. I'm not going to lie.
That is not Bible, guys.
But the first race I actually have never had that dry mouth is in London.
Olympia or XL.
Olympia. And it's obviously, it was a greenhouse. It was hot in London.
Yeah.
But I had electrolytes that morning, and do you know which ones I had? It was Hunter Mac Builder, because he was giving them out to obviously the HYROX Queens group.
Right.
He'd give them out to all of us, and I had them electrolytes, and oh my god, I have to say I noticed a difference with them.
Did you?
That's the only electrolytes.
What were they again?
Builder.
Builder
So
electrolytes.
it's BLDR.
BLD. Yeah.
Have you seen them?
Yeah.
And he was giving them out, and I never ever like I said, never really take them. I actually forgot to get some, so I was like, oh, I'll take it. I spoke to Steve, my nutritionist. He was like, try them. He was like, you've never tried them before, and obviously it's not like your A race that you was doing. It was like a B race for me.
To clarify on A and B, that's a race priority over something where you might be testing different
so like
technique.
a B race is like a simulation.
Yeah.
That was basically my B race.
Yeah.
Post injury as well. So it was like, take it easy.
Yeah.
So he was like, just try it. It's not like a serious race for you. Just see where you get on. And I noticed a difference. I had a litre of water. I then had an ice latte because of pre-internal cooling. If you don't know what that is. That is, so like your milk's got natural electrolytes in it already. So milk's great.
Whole milk.
I
or any.
Skimmed, skinny
Skinny
ice latte, skinny ice latte with vanilla, of course.
That is the new
such a white girl.
But obviously, if you're sensitive to caffeine,
yeah,
bear that in mind.
I mean, it helps you go before the race.
True.
Tactical
tactical
toilet
shift.
trip.
Tactical toilet, the TT.
Literally.
I'm not being funny. Before Manchester, I think I went to the toilet about 5 times.
Yeah, you do.
I don't need any laxative to get that out of me. I was shitting myself so much.
You do though.
Yeah.
Because of the anxiety in your nerves and
Oh
stuff.
my
And I was like, I weren't even nervous for that race, but yet my body was still like...
I was queuing up for the toilet and I was like, I'm
not going to make my
sick.
race.
And I remember Zoe came out and she was like, love your outfit. And I was like, and then I was like, oh God, I need to go to the toilet even more now. Because I was like, was that so?
That's so
me
funny.
and Molly freaked out.
She's so nice as well.
Oh my God,
Zoe.
she like followed us on TikTok afterwards and I was like,
we made it.
I love you.
Oh
so
no,
much.
honestly, she's so lovely.
So nice.
What was I saying?
Tactical toilets.
So we had the internal pre-race cooling. So like, obviously, because it's hot, you need to turn. We're going to say turn your body temperature down. That's not the right.
Get the thermostat.
Cool your internal body down.
Yeah.
So like ice latte.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Slushies.
Anything ice.
Anything ice.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a coffee.
Because it's going to cool your body temperature down. So that's one thing. Then I had also the builder and a litre of water as well before that race.
And
so
what time are you racing?
super hydrated. I actually raced, I think it was like 10:20.
Okay.
So it weren't like early.
Yeah.
So I got up at like my normal time, because I was staying in a hotel, I went to Pret and got what did I get from, oh no, I didn't go to Pret. I had 2 Squares bars.
Stunning.
Because I was like, I normally have Cocoa Pops.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I've no milk, so 2 Squares bars. Boom, I'm in.
Love it.
Had 2 or 3 Percy Pigs, and I was like, that's me good to go. And I tell you what, that race felt great. No dry mouth. Didn't touch the water aid station once.
Oh.
We didn't stop in the
Oh my God.
We stopped once because Nat needed a drink, and I was like, nope, come on.
Yeah.
We're going.
This is the best you're ever going to feel in a race.
Like,
so let's go.
And I tell you what, our rock zone was like literally 4 minutes.
Stop.
I swear to God, because I was like, I felt fresh.
Honestly, HYROX dry mouth is...
I've got it now from that coffee. It needs the internal cooling.
It is the worst. That was the worst part of the race for me.
It's when all your mouth goes white.
Oh, it was
And that's one of the
white.
reasons why I don't like racing in Manchester, because it's worse. Manchester is the worst dry mouth I ever got, and I've raced at all venues in the UK. Manchester is the worst one. The best ones that you don't get it in is London.
That's so interesting, because honestly, it really threw me off. It really threw me off, because I feel like I get dry mouth anyway.
Oh yeah, I've got it now.
I won't lie, guys, our mouths are dry right now. And to be in that environment doing that, I was like gasping. Like I look like, you know, sort of like a tortoise who like is just like.
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know what it's when you see it on your photos when they come through and you've got like wire on your mouth?
Honestly, I really want to get a videographer for my next race, but I'm just thinking about like the dry mouth. And I'm thinking I just don't want him like me on the ski like, please help me. I'm dying. But it's so, honestly, it is. That is such a difficult part. And what's your opinion in that case then? Because someone commented on my video that she bought like a hydration sachet before, like, you know, something you'd have in like barley or something to stay on top of potential illness. I just think anything,
it's dangerous.
It's dangerous, right?
It's dangerous.
Like, I think I'd rather just have
it's
the
a bit
dry
much
mouth.
on your body.
Yeah,
like that. You're taking that. That's extreme.
it's a lot of hydration.
Yeah, it's
And,
too much.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna have to deal.
No, because the thing is though, you can overload on salt as well, which then can cause cramp.
Well, that's what I was saying about electrolytes. I think people are going to be in a position where they might be potentially overloading if they do buy into
People are overcomplicating simple shit.
Yeah.
Like genuinely,
Strip
like
it back.
just keep your nutrition basic.
Yeah.
Training as well, like keep it bloody basic. Like everyone's saying like this method's the right way, that method's the right way. It's all the same fucking method. Like it's the same, and I will hold my hands up. It's like, yeah, I've got a program called the High Life Formula, and like our formula is literally focusing on your mindset, your nutrition, your training, community. But like the principles of it all is very, very basic, but then it's making that basicness specific for you as the person.
100%.
Whereas like people are just like throwing in these complicated WODs or like complicated runs, and I'm like, what are you doing that for? Because you've seen it off on TikTok.
Yeah.
Seen it on Instagram.
And it's not specific to you and your skill level at the time. Yeah.
So you could be doing something that love Hunter, love Megan Jacobi, like love all of them people, but you copying a workout what they've posted
is not beneficial to you.
It's not going to benefit
They're
you.
an elite 15.
They are elite 15 guys.
They're elite 15.
Do you understand?
That's a lot of work.
There's
a lot going on.
Or even like people like Jake Dearden.
Yeah. But he is still elite in his own right,
Elite.
right?
He's going to be an elite 15, let's be honest.
And I think anyone who is big on social media and is a HYROX athlete, they do HYROX, they're a fitness influencer, whatever it is, they have a lot more time to give to it than you do. Yeah. And B, they are already at a certain level. And I think it's really important.
And they've built that up over the years. They've not just gone and slammed them workouts in.
And I think that's also so important. Like, why is that off?
Deary me.
Sorry guys, if you're watching the video, we cut out there and I don't know where it got to, but we're back.
We're back.
So we were talking about athletes. Yeah, like even a WOD that they put on could be you could do it and not be able. There's no point you doing a workout that you're not able to finish or do properly.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to do an AMRAP and it's a 45-minute AMRAP. Like I posted a workout yesterday, it's a 45-minute AMRAP, but you might not be able to do.
You might do 45 minutes. So don't feel bad for not being able to do that.
Change it to a 30-minute AMRAP, a 20-minute AMRAP,
15, 10, whatever. Whatever. Start slow.
100%.
Listen to your gut with it as well.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing I've learned from this type of training. If your gut is like giving you anxiety from being able to do that session, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
100%. And speaking of that sort of intimidation that I think is really prominent, like even from, I don't really like even for me, but you know, like for me, the people I follow that I aspire to be like is your Meg Jacobis, your Lucy Davises, your Jake Deardens, all these people. They're such inspirations to me. I know I'm nowhere near that level right now, but I plan to be. And that can feel intimidating for me, who has done a race.
Feel like there's a long way to go, doesn't it?
Feels like a long way to go. So what would you say to people who are starting to race or want to race but are intimidated because the people that are the ones documenting it really are the athletes? What would you say to just your normal person?
Do a bit more research. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more people out there doing it who are normal people.
Yeah.
Than you think.
Find a relatable inspiration.
Yeah, don't like these people are great. Like Lucy Davis, she's actually incredible. Like even Meg, like she's insane.
They're both
They're both ridiculous. Like we will be like them one day.
For sure.
But those girls, they've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Like, they've been running for years. They've been doing lifting for years. Like, they're not just getting into this. They've always been athletes. Like, these people who are documenting it, who are doing it very, very well now, they've been athletes all of their lives.
Yeah.
And because the sport is so new, you are going to get a lot of people who have been athletes all of their lives going into it and doing it well. Lucy Proctor, she's insane as well. Like,
oh my God, I love Lucy Proctor.
Lovely. She's like the most nice human being. She's an incredible athlete. Like, every time I've heard her speak, I've never actually met her personally, by the way, but like when I've
you like love
but
her.
when like she's spoken on podcasts and stuff, like, she's just very real, and it's
For
like
sure.
she's open and honest and saying, like, she has done running all of her life.
Right, yeah.
So it's like,
and that's the same, like, Lucy and Meg are always so like, we've
done this
trained,
forever.
like, Lucy says she's literally trained for 26 years, like,
Yeah.
and it's so true. You don't, and I think that's what I was going to say before it all cut out and went to shit. I think it's almost like insulting to them for people to come in and expect to be at their level with minimal training.
Yeah.
I think it's
can't.
like, it really winds me up, like, sometimes when I see content from people that are like, I'm gonna win.
You're not gonna.
And it's like, but you know, there are people that have dedicated
years.
I'm all about manifestation. I'm all about, like, yeah, we can joke around and be like, yeah, but it takes so long to work to that level, and it discredits all the hard work that these
100%.
incredible inspirations have put in. You would never say on the start line with Usain Bolt, well, I'm going to win because you've trained, you've sprinted for 2 years. Like,
yeah.
It's, and that's what I think is really important. Is like Meg Jacobi, when she won HYROX Worlds, she literally was there like, you know, 10 years. This has been 10 years in the making.
Work.
Like, she's 32.
Yeah.
She's a mom. Like, that's why she's my biggest inspiration, because she really shows you can do something like that and have a child
and manage a coaching business as well.
Exactly. Like, she is incredible. But it's taken her time, it's taken her graft, and it's taken her sacrifice. And when you want to be at that level, you have to give sacrifice. But sacrifice isn't just waking up at 5 a.m. It's years of your life.
Yeah.
And it's important to be realistic with yourself 100%. About that expectation and manage it.
And it's like, I've put out there on Instagram before, like, I will get a sub 70 HYROX.
Absolutely you will.
At some point. But I've never put like a timestamp on being like, I'm going to be doing it in Manchester. I'm going to be doing it on that. Yeah. Like, because I know from I coach this on a day-to-day basis. I know what work goes in.
Yeah.
And it's like, saying that, like you said, it completely discredits, like, for me to turn around and say I'm getting a sub 70, all right, I'll be in Elite 15 then next year.
100%. And it's
like, no, that's not how it works.
Like, it kind of gives into that idea that a lot of CrossFitters give stick to HYROX as not being a serious sport.
It is serious.
If you then get people on there that are going, well, yeah, I'm going to become Elite 15 in a year, who have only been training for a year,
or people
you're feeding that belief that it's not hard work to get to where these people are.
Do you know what even is as well? It's like, I've seen certain creators turn around, like, go to Worlds this year and like watch the Elite 15 race and been like, I'm going to be Elite 15 next year, and I'm like, girl, I'm here to support you, but it is offensive. Like, and I don't know whether they'd face it offensive or not, or it's like maybe like potentially a bit of an insecurity in me, but like that would kind of rub me up the wrong way a little bit and be like, you've done 1 or 2 races.
Yeah, it's important.
Just because
to know
you've been
where
to
you're
World
at.
Championships doesn't mean you're going to be in Elite 15. Like, do people realise how cutthroat it is to actually get into them Elite 15 races?
So to get into Elite 15, I've never even actually know, is that the top people in pro?
Top 15.
So after the season's finished, they look at the top 15 and they get selected as the Elite 15.
But they have to go to qualifiers around the world.
Right.
So you have to be in the qualifying races. So I can't remember. I think there was one in America, there was one in Europe, there's not one in obviously the UK. There's like major races throughout the year that you have to go to and you have to race in.
Right.
Like, but again, it's not always going to work out for some people. Like, I can't remember. Kate, I forgot her name. She plays golf. Kate, I forgot her name. She's lovely. She's a mum. She like coaches people to play golf. She coaches people in terms of like performance for golf as well.
Amazing.
And then she's done this, like, but she's always been an athlete.
Yeah.
Again, and she had to qualify, but then I think it was her at one of the majors. She had to, like, when I mean it's cutthroat, it is like a wall ball difference.
Yeah.
Like, it isn't like you're a station ahead of people. Like, you are like together for the full race. And
the pressure that must be mentally.
The pressure, what happened was she threw the wall ball up. She got a no rep for her last one. She ran over the line because, did you see it?
Oh my God, I saw
and
this.
And then she had to run back and do it.
And they got the wrong person to run back as well.
Yeah.
And so did she get anything taken off her time in the end?
No, I don't think
Shocking that.
So yeah, that's how, it's not easy.
No. And the same thing happened on the finals men's race as well.
Oh my God,
Sandy's
that was...
screen went off, right? And
yeah,
he was like on 99 reps.
And he carried on going for about 10 more.
Well, I thought, why is he not going over the line?
Cal's not a HYROX person, but we watched Elite 15 races and the relay.
I was screaming at the TV.
He loves Sandy.
He's love
Sandy. I'm obsessed with him.
Listen, Sandy, if you're listening, I
Sandy,
love you.
We want you on the podcast.
I love you. I was watching that race. I have to say, obviously, like, when you watch anything and you see, like Hunter came out and you're like, oh, Hunter's going to win. And you're like, yeah, that's going to be a given.
But the fact that he didn't, that made the race so interesting.
Well, when it was like, Sandy, like, I think lapped him at one point, and I was like literally close to tears. I was like, oh my God, he's going to win
do it.
And then when the other guy got on,
Alexander,
that wall balls was painful
Brutal.
to watch. It was painful. Obviously, it was amazing for both of them, and they both deserved that so much. But when there was that tech malfunction,
and when JK come back as well,
I know.
I was like, where have you come from?
Yeah. Oh my God, I know. It was crazy. But this is why it's such an exciting sport, because honestly, you can show, and it is the same with every race, but you can show up on race day and have had, like what Hunter said, the hardest training camp of your life. You could have really put everything in, and something could just go wrong on the day. You're not feeling 100%, and all of a sudden it's anyone's race. So what goes from being a favoured race goes to anyone's race, because when it's just sprinting, that is down to your skill and your technical, well,
ability.
That's down to like how fast you are, right? But wall balls, you could just be having an off day.
Yeah.
You could just be not getting that target right.
Heat in that place,
the heat,
like,
everything.
It could be doing something. You might
so
not have hydrated enough. Like, there's so many things that could go wrong.
Yeah. And that, like you say, that mentalness as well, where there is someone literally next to you doing wall balls. That can throw me off so much. If I know I've got to hit a target, it's almost like I can't. Like, I think we got about 10 no reps on our Manchester race because I was just like,
I can't
hit this target. But it's exciting, and I think we really are in such a pivotal change in this race, and like
just even sport in general.
There's so many people that are going to be doing this now, and I think it is just, the heat is up. There is more people that are going to be better than you at it, and
more important as well to actually train for it.
Exactly. It's no longer, I think, a race where you can sort of show up and you can just, oh my God, I've accidentally become like, I'm all of a sudden 10th in the race. It's not like that anymore. And I think that's what's super, I don't want to come across like I was someone who was competing when it was like that, because I wasn't. But having learned so much about the sport now, like the ante is up. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
People are taking this seriously. It is becoming a new, I'm honestly hand on heart believe it'll be in the Olympics.
I do, 100%. I said this to Carl. I said I'm surprised it's not.
I am, because I swear there's like hobby horsing in the Olympics. Like, I think there's some crazy
golf.
I
said this to Carl.
The Donor boys, golf.
I said this to Carl because obviously Carl plays golf. I was like, I didn't even realise there was golf in the Olympics.
There's a lot of like rogue mini sports, which are, all there with it in their own right.
I know, but then again, it's like HYROX, would they want to do that? But then again, they've got like the British athletic, like they've got the athletics, like championships and stuff.
And then you
know
qualify to
what I mean?
be in the Olympic team.
Yeah.
It's like you can become an Elite 15, and from them Elite 15, 5 qualify for the Olympics. For the Olympics.
So it's like,
I think that could be really cool.
If you're listening, guys.
Yeah. And
Olympic board.
Me and Lhea were the ones to bring this up. So
if you want us to.
we better be involved in some way with this Olympics
Even if we're just on the sidelines.
Yeah, we'll just be there with commentator
We'll get your
mics.
mics.
We'll do the podcast on the Olympics. So what are your plans for the next season?
Oh, do you know what? I was thinking about this, and it's like, obviously I want to do well. Obviously I want a podium.
What have you signed up for?
So I've currently got Birmingham, got Stockholm. That's also another thing. Don't just book races after races, because you're not going to actually progress.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. So I've got Birmingham, I've got Stockholm. I'm wanting another 2 for the back end of the year. I'll probably do I want to do Barcelona when it comes out. I mean, I'm obsessed with Barcelona now,
Gorgeous,
so probably will do that. I'll drag Cal into that one.
Yeah.
He's never done one before, but
stunning.
It'll be a fun race.
Push him out his comfort zone.
I think as well it's important to say, like, you can't do every race as like a serious race.
For sure.
Like, you need to have fun with them. So I'll probably do a women's doubles as well at some point. And I'll probably do another solo, maybe the latter end of the year.
Amazing.
Maybe like London. But yeah, that's kind of the plans. Would like to podium. But again, it's like, you don't know who's going to show up on the day.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to show up on the day.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't turn around and be like, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, because you don't know.
You don't know.
As long as I beat my time from last time, I get like 118 in pro women, like, I'm happy with that.
Stunning,
118, 120,
incredible
take
time.
it. So yeah, that's kind of my plans on that side. Then we've got girls racing all over the bloody world, which is so exciting.
So incredible.
But yeah, like, I don't want to put pressure on myself this season, because I put pressure on myself last season and it ended up making me really stressed and worked up.
Just go in and see what you can do.
Just go and see what I can do. Like, obviously I'm doing the training, doing the hard work.
Yeah.
Like, I'll reap the rewards.
Absolutely.
When it comes. So
Absolutely.
that's kind of that.
I can't wait to watch and see
I'm
how
excited.
we get on. Well, thank you so much for
It's
coming on the
okay.
pod. Guys, if you want to check out any more of Leah's content, which, by the way, is very good content surrounding HYROX, I'll leave her Instagram in the description below. And if you are interested in getting a HYROX coach who is affiliated with HYROX, she knows her shit, then Lhea is your gal. But yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You
see you in the next week.
Next week.
See you in the next week. You guys get the drill. Thanks so much for listening to today's podcast. Make sure to follow and review. You know the drill. If you are interested in any one-to-one coaching to reach your fitness goals this year, whatever they are, then head over to my Instagram, EmilyJadeFit, and drop me a message. And remember, you can do hard things.